Nice little hip hop beat, little Curtis Blow to get us started. If I ruled the world. Today's crazy drivers. Today I'm going to talk about the new nerd, right? The new nerd. Actually, the end of the nerd. How about there is no more nerd. Nerd is gone, right? The new nerd. Why I say the new nerd is because with the inclusion of KRS-One, one of my favorite, I don't say my favorite, but one of my favorite, because there's so many of them. One of my favorite rappers, and Rakim, and the long-term involvement of Method Man in specifically the Luke Cage show. It's a wrap now. That the whole nerd as a different type of person, as a introverted, awkward, unconfident, pocket protector wearer, tape on the glasses. That's dead, yo. This geek, this tech type of person, this tech, the fact that everybody has a social media. I got friends that's I know was into thug life. They got social media. Cats is getting sensitive on social media based on a comment that was said. You got cats like Nas responding to baby mama drama on social media. These is like nerd things. Back in the days, if you would have told me, told anybody that somebody wouldn't have gotten hands, instead of getting hands, they would have gone to their fingers and typed out their gripes, or hell, even talking about it on a video is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that this whole concept of a separate nerd is really dead in the water. And I don't say totally because of Luke Cage, but I'm going to say large part of it was because of shows like Luke Cage, or maybe even Luke Cage signified the end of it. There's still awkward people, right? There's still introverted people, no doubt. However, this nerd audience is now expanded, because comic books used to be for introverts, awkward kids, nerds, you know what I'm saying? And that used to be the stereotype. It never really was, because we could tell, like DMC, he always wanted to draw comic books, and now he's got his own comic book. And we could tell that, Luke Cage is not a new character. So for KRS-One, who's 50-something years old, to join in and be a part of it, Rakim, all these people that are ultra epitome of cool, you know what I'm saying? You can't get cooler than Rakim. I may argue that Big Daddy Kane might be cooler than him, but from the inclusion of all these people to the new people that's involved in it, whether it's The Weeknd, whether it's will.i.am, and I don't know if will.i.am epitomizes cool, but he certainly isn't cornball, you know what I'm saying? This whole nerd element is a thing of the past. I was at a sports bar and I was like, I wonder when this sports bar is gonna have a show Black Panther or something, or you know what I'm saying? Do a Star Wars day, because I really think those type of things are capable of happening on the level, and in a cool place like where you drink bars. You can't tell me that people that watch Star Wars, Star Trek, enjoy a Marvel movie don't drink beer. What? Are you kidding me? Sure they do. And I see a whole bunch of families in the bar, so it ain't about, doing something that your kids can't enjoy. I think we're expanding what comic books appeal is, and I think that is going to have an impact. I've already said that they're getting blacker stories or blacker writers. And that's not just because the writers are black or the stories are black. It's the fact that they are getting cooler. You know what I'm saying? They are more of on the insiders. You know what I'm saying? Cats will be going to go to concerts. They're going to meet these rappers and other people inside the comic book stories. I know in my stories, they're going to have that opportunity to meet. You know, my characters already have an appeal for the the hip hop, R&B, you know, artists and entertainers, LeBron James and all those. One of my stories, they was beefing over Mary J. Blige and Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? And I think those are some of the real discussions that happen in the real world, you know? So I think that's going to start happening more in the stories, in the comic books. It's not going to be a gimmick. Like, you know, not saying like Shaquille O'Neal's comic books were gimmicks, but take, for instance, Shaquille's presence in what was it, Static Shock. I mean, that was more of a gimmick, you know what I'm saying? And that was cool, and it was definitely forward writing on the part of my man Dwayne McDuffie, you know, but I think it's going to become more commonplace now. I think I'm thinking this whole thing of this nerd is going to be dead. I really think, you know, it's hard to call somebody a nerd. I don't know how you call somebody a nerd. What does it mean? You know what I'm saying? You might as well call them corny or introverted, but, you know, to say somebody a nerd, what? You got a computer, they got a computer. You know how to hack a little bit. You know how to, you know, download illegal stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cool dudes do that. You know what I'm saying? What's the dude that just stole all the kids, took the, what did he do? He had a nice cut. He got trim. He looks hood or straight or cool, whatever you want to call it. But he hacked into the computer at the college and refunded all the students' money for years. Now, they probably can get the money back, but just imagine if you saw that money in your account and you ran out and bought a house, you ran out and bought a car, you ran out and went to Las Vegas, and that money's gone. I don't think you're liable for it. Somebody put that money in your account, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? If you went and paid Visa and paid your debt off with that money, I don't think it can be returned. I know it can't be if you went into a strip club, that money is gone, and I don't think you got to be liable for it either. So yeah, a cool guy did that. So why am I saying all this? Because I think it's going to impact the books we read. I think it's going to impact the comic books, video games, of course, the movies, they're already being impacted, and television shows like Luke Cage is really going to impact it. I, for one, am happy because I really never considered myself a nerd. You know, I was DJing at 11 years old. I always knew what, you know, the fashions were. Used to dress with my family in New York just to stay ahead of the curve, you know, so I might not have had 50 million girlfriends, but I certainly was hip to what was going on, the songs that was out. I might have not been able to be the best dancer, but I certainly danced like everybody else. So I wasn't any more awkward than probably the regular thug. And, you know, talking to my friends that probably would go down as considered thugs because they probably did crime or they fought a lot, they tell you the same thing. They were nervous. They had issues growing up in terms of feeling confident. So this whole Fonzie, who's another, what's the guy on White Shadow? You know, not Thorpe. Thorpe was the nerd. Can't remember the other dude. But all this whole image of a nerd being somebody that can't function, that's dead. You know, because there's other people, you know, thugs can't function all the time either. Many times that's why they want to fight, because they don't know how to talk, you know, and they don't know any other expression than that. So I just kind of think, yo, it's dead. I've been, you know, talking to some comic book cats, and they like, oh, so we gotta write drug dealer stories. I don't think you gotta write drug dealer stories, you know, and I don't think drugs are exclusive to hood people either. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of really fine, good Americans get caught up in drugs now, and I don't think everybody in the hood gets caught up in the drugs. So I mean, when I watch shows like The Wire, even the hood drug dealing affects everybody. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just Sons of Anarchy, you know what I'm saying, that you know, the bikers, it ain't that, you know, these fringe groups. It's a lot of everyday people. So, you know, comic book stories are not going to just be a collection of Napoleon Dynamites anymore, you know, the awkward nerds that's scared to fight. Sure, those are the ones that, you know, seem like they need to be Shazam or want to be the Hulk or need a damn hero, but you know, just because you can fight and join in don't mean you don't want a hero either. You don't have a bigger threat, because really these kids shooting each other and these thugs, they ain't the toughest people on the block. You know what I'm saying? Really, I always felt people that stood up to the oppression that's going on in the world and did something about it were the toughest people, and that could be a college student, that could be, you know, a minister. I always felt that they were more manly and tougher than somebody who was quick to swing on you, quick to pull out a gun, talked all this tough stuff, you know, personally for you. So really, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I think this nerd thing is dead. We need to put a cemetery plot out for the nerd, because the nerd is a regular person now. Everybody else is probably diagnosed with some behavioral disorder. All right? Peace, y'all.